Hi, I am planting onions here, and these are the Red Bull onions. I may have talked about them a little bit in another video, maybe when I was planting the seeds, or maybe when I was moving them out to the greenhouse or something. Yeah, I'm getting these along with all my other onions. I've also got this is one kind of designed to be a big red onion. I also have Walla Walla onions that are a yellow onion. Many people know them in our area. They're a sweeter onion, and I'm just planting them out into the beds. I've said this before in other videos. This year I'm trying kind of the strategy of planting a little bit of everything in every bed, just for the fun of it for most part, but also I think maybe yeah, I'd be just kind of interested to see kind of how it affects different kinds of pests, and also how maybe I'll find out that certain things just grow better in certain locations around the garden is the other thought. But that's just kind of a tangent on what I turned the video on here for, which is just to show you that I'm planting these. I'm planting them in these beds over here, and I'll bring the camera in to do some close-ups so you can kind of see how I do it. What I found over the years is if you bury this kind of onion like too deep, then I feel like it doesn't grow as much as I want it to, or it doesn't grow in the right way. So I'm kind of burying it up to, you know, if you kind of see the bulb is kind of started there, so I'll kind of bury it up to there. So I'm not burying them super deep. When I look at the seed packets, or I looked at other directions on the internet, it suggests that you would bury this kind of thing like an inch deep in the dirt, but I'm not doing that here. I actually did that on a few areas that I did it, just because I wasn't paying too much attention. So I'll actually have some variation. So, well, I guess we'll find out, because I'm not intending to. I'll have some that are buried more shallow and some that are buried more deep, and we'll find out how that works out. But that's it. I'll give you a close-up of this as I do it, and see you on the next segment. Yank the weed out of here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to kind of make a little indentation, not too deep, just a little indentation there. Then I'm going to pop this guy out of the cell tray and mush him down into there. Bury it just a little bit there, so I'm just kind of barely burying the bulb there, and that's my methodology. I'll plant about 12 in this area here, and then I'll move on to another bed in the garden to plant 6 to 12 more. Hey, behind me here is the kale that I'm going to plant, and I just thought I would share with you. I'll do a close-up so you can kind of see the size of the plant before I'm putting it in the ground. I'd say this is, I'm often let them get a little bit bigger before I put them in, so this might be the best time to do it. I mean, the roots are kind of toward the bottom, but they're certainly not a huge root ball in there yet. And often, I have to be honest, I end up causing there to be a huge root ball before I put it in, just because I'm late with putting things in. So I'm thinking I might actually be on time, or maybe a little early this time, which is fine. Where we are, I always have to put down slug pellets or deal with slugs right after planting, or they'll, right after I plant these things, they'll be eaten within a few days. So I'll put down slug pellets, that kind of thing. You see the bed that's beyond where the kale tray is there, back even further, you see all that kind of white stuff in there. That's a combination of complete organic fertilizer and some rock dust and lime to amend the soil, essentially. And I get that stuff from a place kind of in our area. It's in our area, it's called the Milwaukee. It's Milwaukee is the town, but it's kind of the Portland metro area, and the place is called Concentrates. And so yeah, they've got easy to get and affordable kind of soil and amendments for the home gardener and for the farm kind of thing. So that's what's going on there. Well, I am planting out the kale. I have red, let's see, what's it called? Red Rebor. It's like a Russian kale, I think. The seeds were actually quite expensive, from relatively speaking. No seeds are really that expensive, but relative to other seeds, it was more expensive than what I normally spend, and they were from Botanical Interest. So I'm guessing that means this is some very special kale. I also have some dino kale here, that Italian kale, which is what I typically like growing the most. And yeah, I'm just trying to plant these out here into the beds. That's my plan for the morning. Well, I just had something pretty awesome happen, and I wanted to share with you all. A nice woman who, driving around the neighborhood, I guess she sees our garden from the street. She kind of drives around the neighborhood, and she brought me 2 of these plants here that she said, I'm going to have to look this up on Google it and find out more about it. It's something they grow in her home country, and it is, but she called it sweet garlic. She didn't know if that's exactly what it's called here. It's pretty rare here, she said, but that it is a very common thing to grow in her country. She's from Kurdistan. And so, yeah, it was pretty awesome. Apparently she's got a small plot of garden that she grows, and she was growing a bunch of this, and it kind of outgrew her space, and she's kind of managing her space pretty closely, because I have a lot of starts in the greenhouse, so I tried to give her some of what I had, and she couldn't take any of it because she's got her space already filled out or whatever. But just yeah, kind of cool that somebody would bring that by. So I'm gonna try my hand at growing this and see what it's about. Hi. Well, behind me here is my pea trays, and these, if you may have seen in a prior episode, you may have seen me planting peas in cell trays, and this is the result. They grew under lights in the basement nursery for, I would say, maybe about a week. I didn't leave them in there very long. Peas can handle some cold, and so I was able to take those out of there and put them in the greenhouse, and where they've been ever since. And so today, now I'm putting them out here. Typically when you take plants out of a covered or sheltered area, they say to harden them off. I kind of sometimes do that, particularly with warm weather stuff, but like with peas, I don't even bother. I might lose a few, I'm not sure, but I haven't really noticed a market issue with it. Well, the kinds of peas that I have here, I've got sugar snap peas, which is really my go-to. The super sugar snap pea is a variety that you can find out there. That's my go-to. That's the heavy producer that I use and my family likes to eat, that I grow a lot of. I also have a shelling pea called the Progress shelling pea, and that one I like to pick the peas when I'm out in the garden and just kind of eat them fresh. The actual process, I've never really found kind of a way that you can shell peas at scale other than like sitting in front of the TV or whatever and shelling, and I just don't have the time for that. So that idea is not a, if you've got great ideas for shelling peas, let me know down in the comments maybe. Because I'd love to learn a better way to do it. But I do like to grow some just for snacking in the garden. I think they're fun. Maybe I might do one round of harvest where I shell the peas and we have them for dinner or something. But I'm not harvesting and eating them at scale like we are the super sugar snaps. I also have a little bit of the Oregon sugar pod, which is really kind of like a snow pea. I like the super sugar snap peas better than that, but I always grow a little bit of snow peas just to get some variety, just for the fun of having a different kind. And then this year, for the first time, I'm trying a purple. It's like a magnolia sugar snap pea. I've never grown that before, and so I'm trying that out. And so back behind me here on these kind of trellis that I've just put up, so I'll have one big long area here and 2 on the sides here for trellising up the peas. Peas are great for trellising. They need a trellis a lot of times. The super sugar snap peas, for example, I mean, they'll grow to like 6 feet high, perhaps higher if you had more time and the right kind of space for it. But in any case, because I've got the different varieties, one of the things I found is sometimes I get my shelling peas mixed up with my sugar snap peas, and that stinks because then you don't know which one. I don't know obviously which one I'm pulling. It's not obvious to me, I should say, which one I'm pulling, and so sometimes I'm eating kind of a very tough shelling pea instead of a sugar snap pea if I get them mixed up. So there is some system to my madness here where I'll have the shelling peas on one grid or one side and not mix the sugar snap peas with them. But what I thought about with these new purple peas is maybe I will mix the purple sugar snap peas with the shelling peas, because I'll know which ones are the sugar snap, because they'll be purple. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is mix those two, and then have the Oregon snow pea on its own side, and then have the super sugar snap peas everywhere else. So that's what I'm up to here. Maybe I'll be able to show you a close-up or give you a picture of the final once they're kind of in the ground. What I do is I'm just going to pop them out of the cell trays. I'm going to dig a trench, and I'm just going to plop them in that trench. I'm going to put them right next to each other, so I found that I can plant these very, very close. They don't need a lot of spacing, and so that's my methodology when I'm doing here. So I'll see you all later. Bye.